Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Release Readiness Live. If you've joined us already this week, I'm Elna Miller, your community moderator. I'm excited to be here this week as we talk about some of the great new features in the Winter 20 release across all the major clouds. And today we're here with the team from the Marketing Cloud, and we are really excited to bring you all the new features here today. We are recording this webcast, so don't worry, we will be able to, you'll be able to play it back at any time. And really what I love about Release Readiness Live is no matter what kind of Trailblazer you are, whether this is your first Salesforce release or your 20th, you're going to learn something new that you can use. Our product team is right here in the studio to review the features and show you some live demos, as well as answer some of your questions on the air. Now, speaking of questions, let's take a quick moment to review how this works. We'll be monitoring both the Release Readiness Trailblazers community and Twitter, and the most important thing to remember is to use the hashtag SalesforceLive. I recommend posting your longer, more detailed questions in the community where the conversation can continue after the webcast. We do have a no question left behind policy, so if we don't get to your questions on the air, we'll be sure to follow up with you within a few days. Now, as I said, we are recording, so don't worry, you can watch it back later. Now, since we may be covering the roadmap, we will be making possibly some forward-looking statements, so please make your purchasing decisions based on currently available functionality. And now, without further ado, let's meet our product managers. Welcome, and start with you, Andy.
Sure, thank you, Elna. Hi, everyone. My name is Andy Simmons. I am a Senior Product Marketing Manager on our Marketing Cloud team. I focus especially on our Einstein, our AI products and analytics features within the Marketing Cloud. So I'm excited to talk to you today about Einstein Send Time Optimization, our connector between Interaction Studio and Einstein Next Best Action, as well as Datorama and a new marketplace that we've launched there. And just one fun fact about me, when I moved out to San Francisco, I actually started going to all the national parks that I could. I've pretty much ticked off all of them in California, and I've been to about 20 or so on my path to going to all of them in my lifetime. So looking forward to completing that at some point.
Cool. Thanks, Andy. And I'm Chris Shonalot. I'm a senior product marketer here at Salesforce on the Marketing Cloud as well. I joined the Salesforce family earlier this year, and I specialize in working with our journey and cross-cloud product solutions within the Marketing Cloud. So today I'm excited to talk to you about distributed marketing and quick send to list views, including a number of other really cool features that we've recently released, and we'll also be diving into Social Studio Persona Insights and seeing how we can use Social Studio Analytics to better target your audiences. With that, a fun fact about me, I was an avid traveler before. I've been to over 40 countries worldwide. We recently had a kid, and so let's slow down just a little bit, but continue to push along on that bucket list.
Thanks. My name is Jen Mavis. I'm a senior product manager here at Salesforce Marketing Cloud. I've been here for about 5 years, always focusing on Mobile Studio and more specifically on Mobile Push. And today I'm excited to talk to you about our Transactional Messaging API, as well as in-app messaging for mobile apps. And fun fact about me, a little less travel, I have 3 children, and this is the first year that all 3 kids are in school. So my life has changed a lot.
Well, I can feel you on that milestone. Also got kids in school as well. So thank you for joining us. And I guess we're ready to go ahead and get started. Andy, let's hear what this send time optimization is all about.
Sounds great. Yeah, I'll kick it off. So I'd like to start talking about Einstein Send Time Optimization, first about kind of the challenge or the situation that we are all very aware of as consumers. And that's this idea of the competition that is going on in our inboxes every day for the emails that get delivered there. If you're anything like me, I'm probably up to 100 plus emails in my inbox between work and the promotional emails of the brands that I'm signing up for. But that doesn't really matter because those 100 emails, whether they're for work or for personal or from a brand that I want to hear from, they're all competing and they're all noise. And I'm only in my inbox at certain times during the day. So really the challenge here and the goal for marketers is how do we earn that top spot at the top of the inbox so that we're most, we're at the kind of attention of the customer when they're engaging. And that is exactly why we have released Einstein Send Time Optimization for the Marketing Cloud. This takes advantage of our AI capabilities within Salesforce to deliver email when the customer is most likely to be engaged in their inbox, when they're most likely to view it and engage with that. This is going to help you be at the top of the inbox, win that kind of coveted top spot, or at least be hopefully above the fold in the subscriber's inbox when they're engaging with it. And it's helping you do this in an automatic way. We'll kind of talk a little bit in the demo in just a second about how many customers, how many marketers try to do this today and have done this in the past with the insights and analytics that they can get. But we're taking this the next step, automating it and predicting the best time for engagement in the inbox for each individual. So let's go ahead and actually see what a demo looks like of this. And just to orient you here, this is our Marketing Cloud. I'm actually in a tool called Analytics Builder. And I wanted to start out in this view because this shows the rich analytics that we're collecting around email engagement and subscribers' optimal send time. So this is what a lot of marketers have available today in one form or another in different tools. This is new to the Marketing Cloud, but what it's showing us is for all of the emails and for all of the customers in a specific business unit or across our entire enterprise, what are the trends? What are the analytics around their opens and clicks and engagement times? So we can see some of the basic stats here, like how many total email addresses we have in our enterprise and our account. We can see how many have actually been assigned that personalized send time, so we have enough data to actually give them a prediction about when they're most likely to engage. And then how many are still waiting to get assigned that send time. And we can also look at that across different business units if you're an enterprise structure that has multiple kind of businesses under one roof. And then we can look at across time zone as well. So if you would like to kind of see and you have a headquarters or operate mainly in one time zone. As I start to scroll down too, we're starting to see a little bit more detailed information. So we can see based on send time by day what the most common days are for people to be opening. So if you want to kind of think about what's the best day of a week to send to a subscriber base, we can see that Sunday gets typically the most engagement, followed closely by Tuesday and Wednesday. So those might be, for this particular brand, a good day to send on. We can also break that down even further by send time by hour. So here we can see from 0 to 23, obviously we're using kind of the military time here, but what hour of the day is the most optimal time to send? And then we could prioritize and send to an audience segment based on that. And we can also see kind of a comparison of the hour of day and day of week. So if we want to specifically hone in on a particular day and time, we can do that as well. So maybe Wednesday at 7 p.m. is a really good time to send. And we've kind of have a nice little summary here. Okay, so that's helpful. That definitely helps inform the marketer. But we're really talking about AI and automation and making it easier for the marketer, embedding this directly into the workflows. So we want to make this more actionable and less manual for the marketer to actually use this information. So we can go over to Journey Builder. And when I flip over to Journey Builder, where we orchestrate all of our customer journeys with emails and different mobile messages or social ads, things like that, we can see that we have this Einstein send time optimization activity. So this is part of our decision split and flow control kind of grouping. And what this is going to do, if I click on this, is when I drag this in front of an email, I have the option to then ask Einstein to optimize that email send for the best time in the next 24 hours or the best time in the next 7 days to send that to each individual subscriber. So what will happen then is when that email is ready to go out, it will wait to go to each subscriber. So I will get I'll get the email at a different time than Chris and then Jen, based on what has been predicted by Einstein as the most optimal engagement time. One thing that's nice here as well is if I were to drag this activity in front of something that wasn't an email, and then I click this validate button before I run my journey, I can actually see that it's going to tell me, you need to change you need to change the way that you're organizing this journey, because Einstein STO, the activity here has to actually be put before an email. So that's important at this stage. So there you see the validation rule firing off. And then I could just simply go delete that. So that is more about Einstein send time optimization. As you can see, directly embedded into the Marketing Cloud, super easy to use, and leveraging the power of machine learning and artificial intelligence to really help you optimize when you send that message after you've crafted that perfect message for your subscriber base. So before we go to the next, are we taking questions now, or should we
you
wait
can
till the
keep
end?
going, and then once you're done, we'll take questions.
Sorry.
Yeah.
So we'll keep going then and talk about the next exciting feature. So the next one is also an Einstein-related feature that we've released recently. This one is actually a marriage between our Interaction Studio product, which is an omni-channel personalization and customer interaction, real-time customer interaction management tool, and our Einstein Next Best Action platform feature. So the goal here is with Interaction Studio, you can really monitor those real-time interactions that customers are having on your website, on your apps, across your digital channels, and be able to use that to make better recommendations of what the next offer or the next interaction should be. Much of that data is coming from those real-time interactions across those consumer channels, like I mentioned. Einstein Next Best Action is also out to do a similar thing in terms of providing the best action or offer for an individual, but usually within the context of for a salesperson or a service agent, and using data from those types of places. So if somebody were to go into a branch at a bank, for instance, that data being captured by that salesperson in the branch, and using that information within Sales Cloud or Service Cloud to be able to make that next best recommendation. But really, we want to be able to use these two data sets more closely together, because having that unified view and really understanding all of the interactions that a customer is taking is really important into making that next recommendation. So that's what we're doing here by creating this connector between the two. And what it really unlocks the capability to do is three main things. The first is extending the digital offer to the assisted channel. So think about this as a service agent, for instance, who might be on the phone call with someone or interacting via chat or something. Within the Service Cloud console, they might be getting these recommendations from Einstein Next Best Action on what offer they should present or what kind of next interaction they should have. But if we know that they're being served an offer on a website or an advertisement, and that's being captured by something like Interaction Studio, now we can bring that information, that insight, into the Einstein Next Best Action tool and platform, and that now updates the recommendations so that we've actually got all of the data telling us what the next best action is, not just one kind of subset of the data. The other key use case, or the second key use case, is to be able to enrich the suggested actions with all of that engagement data. So like I was saying, whether it's from the service and sales kind of data, enriching the data and the interactions that you're coordinating through Interaction Studio and marketing channels, or vice versa, the marketing engagement and consumer engagement that's coming and being captured through Interaction Studio into a place like Service or Sales Cloud. Being able to augment that and enrich those suggested actions is kind of the crux of what we're doing here. And the last use case is really being able to take that, as I was mentioning, that sales and service data or the offline data that might be collected in other parts of the Salesforce platform that you're collecting and putting into Einstein Next Best Action, using that in the predictions and the recommendations that Interaction Studio is making as you think about, and your marketing team thinks about, how to engage with customers in those digital channels. So there is a great demo out there on our YouTube channel already from a previous Marketing Cloud release. I would encourage you to go and find that on our release channel. But what I wanted to do real quick is kind of walk you through an example of what this would look like and how this actually works with those key use cases in mind. So let's say that we're following Tom, who is a new banking customer for this particular bank. And the first thing that he's going to do is he's going to go to the website. And so as he's on the website, he decides he wants to sign up for the basic kind of checking and savings accounts. So he does that. He gives his email address, and he becomes an identified user of Customer First Bank. Then, as he kind of maybe some time passes, and he's been depositing his money and starting to manage his funds and his wealth. But now it's time to start thinking about what's next, his investment options, whether those are IRAs or different wealth management accounts and products. So he's back on the site, he's browsing some of these solutions, and we know that it's Tom, he's logged into his account. And what Interaction Studio is doing is it's actually collecting all of these interactions that he's taking on the website. So now we know that he's showing an intent and interest in investment options, particularly within our banking pages. So that's important information that we can have, and within Interaction Studio, we'll already be starting to empower the marketing team to take the appropriate next steps. But it's really important to have this data be flowing everywhere and be unified across Tom's profile wherever we know him, because he might also be coming into the bank's branch and having interactions with the tellers and the sales associates in the branch. And so those are being captured somewhere else, and there's an entirely different kind of set of recommendations that might be made to Tom based on that. So what we want to do is be able to combine those two sets of information, what's being captured by Interaction Studio in real time and what's being captured offline or in a service channel, and bring those into the single view so that when a salesperson, or when, in this case, a service agent is interacting with Tom, they know what the next best action is to take based on all the data that they have available to them. So you can see here, and on kind of the right side of this screenshot, the different interactions that are being suggested by Einstein according to the data coming from all of those different channels. And that allows then the team to make the best recommendation. And to kind of close the loop on all of this, based on what that service agent recommends and what they indicate that Tom has, if he's chosen to go with a particular investment account, then that's going to be looped back into Interaction Studio, so that Interaction Studio and the marketer is aware over in that context of how to use that to better personalize and target the advertisements or the website experience the next time that Tom comes back to the website. So you can see kind of this virtuous loop of combining the data, making sure we have the best recommendation for each individual, and making sure that it's always the most up to date. Great, so I want to move to the last piece of what I'm presenting today, which is all around Datorama and marketing intelligence. So just a quick level set, because Datorama is fairly new to the Marketing Cloud suite. About a year ago, it was an acquisition that we made, and it's been integrated into the Marketing Cloud so that we can really make marketers successful in connecting and unifying and analyzing all of their marketing data and campaign performance at scale and in a really simple way. So that's really the focus of Datorama here, by providing easy-to-use visualizations powered by AI, and think of this as the way that the business user, the marketer, can really get their hands dirty with the data and start to understand where they can make optimizations and improve the customer experience for their customers. So that's kind of where we start. And Datorama does an amazing job of allowing marketers to bring all of that together and get a single view of their organization and campaign performance. But what we want to talk about today is Datorama Marketplace. And this is a natural extension of what we just talked about in Datorama. Think of this almost as akin to the Salesforce App Exchange. And in fact, everything that is being listed in the Datorama Marketplace is also listed in the Salesforce App Exchange, so you'll be able to see what's available no matter where you're looking. But this is really the extension of the Datorama value and promise to marketers to help them get a complete view of all their data and understand how their performance across all their campaigns is going, but do it in a really simple way. What we've allowed partners and customers and developers and different agencies to do now is build on top of Datorama these smart apps and lenses so that you can really take all of the knowledge that and standardize kind of the key KPIs and really make these beautiful visualizations and access the data in a quick, fast, easy way, as opposed to always having to build customizable dashboards, which is also very easy to do within Datorama, but sometimes you just need those quick apps to go and look at. So we'll actually take a look at what this looks like, and let me get to the Datorama screen. Let's see. So I'll go back here, and I wanted to start again just showing you kind of what Datorama is and kind of what a customized dashboard looks like. So this is where you would maybe start if you were a marketing analyst or a marketer and you wanted to build this kind of custom view for your business. You could create and add all of your marketing and sales KPIs at a high level, so you get a quick view of how things are performing across your business. You can see very quickly how the campaigns are trending across your spend and conversions, what campaigns are you're spending the top amount of money on, what kind of ROI you're receiving from those. You can break it down by channel and see how each channel is contributing to your goals. Are they performing up to or below or above expectations? You can even see things like creative optimization and creative metrics. What are your top performing pieces of content? Where might you want to invest more dollars and leverage that more? And you can see that we have AI baked right into the platform as well, telling us where we are versus what we expect the performance to be. So that is kind of the dashboard view of Datorama. But when we think about the marketplace and making this even easier for marketers to take advantage of, and for the developers and let me see if I can get back, there we go, to the marketplace to begin with. But when we think about, giving marketers the ability to do this easily, allowing developers, allowing customers to build their own kind of apps on top of Datorama, we can see what that looks like here. Not too dissimilar from the Salesforce App Exchange. And you can see we have all different sorts of marketing data sources that we have integrated here. People like Google and getting a quick view of our web analytics at a glance, Facebook, etc. We've also got some key ones that I wanted to highlight two in particular. We have this Salesforce Marketing Cloud connector for email. So for all the email marketers out there, you have some of these basic stats within the Marketing Cloud, but if you really want to see them in a nice visual way, you can now do that really easily and effectively with Datorama. So first I'll go into kind of what that would look like. And you can see that this is templatized, very simple, straightforward, a nice visual, but still interactive for the marketer based on kind of the key KPIs and what they'd be wanting to look at. So you have how many sends have you delivered, what is that delivery rate, and this is telling us that we're actually a little bit below our goal. And then kind of what our best or worst performing jobs are. When we scroll down, we can get a little bit deeper and see how our open rate and click rate on subscribes are doing, what campaigns or journeys in particular are best performing, and then even what kind of specific emails or content or where are these metrics really being seen the most. And in this case, Oregon has the most opens for our email sends. So that's kind of the quick view, and we could filter that for different date ranges and date filters as well. You can see here, we could filter that by a campaign. We could filter that by business units if you have a setup like that as well. And it's super easy to set up. So I just wanted to quickly show how fast and how many, what kind of the steps that a marketer would take to do this as well. So to set it up, I would simply pick the business unit that I want to apply this to. and what data I want to pull from, what data sources I want to pull from. Right now I'm just pulling from email and Journey. And then this is where I would set my organizational goals. So we saw that my delivery rate was below performance. I can adjust these if I want, the open rate, click rate. I can add different, potentially different goals as well. And then once I'm happy with what those are set at, I'm done and it will start installing. So 3 clicks or 3 steps, and that's how easy it is to set up these apps and start getting the metrics that really matter to your business. And then as that's loading, we can take a look at another app real quick. And I think this is just an interesting one, again, to show the power of how visual and how appealing these can be. This is actually using publicly available social data. And in this case, we're comparing some different hard rock and metal bands based on their engagement and the growth of their different social accounts and reach. So we can see that Metallica is outperforming all of the other 4 down here at the bottom. And if I wanted to click down into, I can see some more interesting things like based on the analysis of the data, what are the best times to maybe do some posting? If I'm Metallica versus the other, when are my competitors posting? So we can see that on Twitter, Saturday and Sunday seems to be the best and most engagement. On Facebook, it's Sunday through Tuesday. YouTube is actually a Friday. And I can even see some things like what are my top posts, or what are my competitors' top posts here? What are they saying out there? So again, super slick visuals. This is all out of the box. You don't have to do a ton of setup. You can get started really easily. And of course, if you need the additional customizability of dashboards, Datorama has that too, like we saw in the very beginning. So with that kind of concludes what I can talk about today in the 3 features. Hopefully that was interesting and helpful.
It was very interesting. I learned a lot, actually. So there's some interest in the send time optimization with respect to return path deliverability. So maybe we can discuss that for a minute. So for example, Miles was wondering, do you have any recommendations or considerations for using send time optimization when also using return path for deliverability? And he says we need to use the send time optimization functionality as part of a journey, and the return path box that we usually check is not there. So how would they combine those 2 functionalities?
Yeah, that one I'm not super familiar with. It sounds like there might be some product functionality, so I think I'd want to connect you with the right product person to be able to answer that and see if there's something going on with a release or something that we had. But
normally it should be available.
Normally it shouldn't be an issue. You wouldn't access return path in the same place as the send time optimization, so those are 2 separate applications. So I think I just wanted to go a little bit deeper on specifically what the what the ask is there.
And Asha also had a question about what is the difference between the 2? What's the difference between when would you use Datorama versus return path for deliverability? So
generally speaking, return path is, when we talk about deliverability, it's about, is my email reaching the inbox? Send time optimization is not really, is it reaching the inbox, but when is it reaching the inbox? Is it reaching it at a time that customers are most likely to engage? So a little bit of a different focus there. But there might be some synergy and some overlap, so it'd be a good discussion to kind of follow up on.
That chart that you showed with the different gradations of blue, that was really interesting, so you could really see visually where the darker color was the more emails opened in that time, that exact time and date. And is that based on your own previous data?
Yeah, so that is all based on the subscribers' engagement data with emails in the past. So that's coming from every past engagements that they've had. So there is kind of a threshold of data that we need to be able to make those predictions, and that graph kind of represents the what the model is doing and predicting. But yeah, it's coming from your own customers' data. we are just looking at your enterprise and your customers, individual customers' data to make those predictions and pull out those analytics.
Great. So Frank is asking about another sort of combo, combining this with other features. So exporting the click activity PDF, is there a way to do that when using send time optimization?
That is a good question. I will have to follow up on that one. I don't know if that's part of the current product functionality, but we can get the answer for you real easily.
Cool. And also, if you have Datorama, can you pull all Ad Studio campaign metrics into Datorama and create a dashboard at the audience level?
That is not my particular area of expertise. So my understanding is that Datorama will ingest all of the different sources of marketing data, which I believe that would be included. But that's another one I would want to make sure and confirm with the appropriate product managers.
All right. We'll be sure to follow up then.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's go ahead and hand it over to Chris, and I'll let you take it away.
Thanks. And Andy, I'm real excited about some of the Einstein features, especially as they speak to some of the Journey products that I work with. I think that really just kind of levels the playing field, and amazing to see what Datorama can actually do for business here. It's really cool. So I'm going to be talking about distributed marketing, and just to take a little step back, for those of you a little less familiar with it, it's a product that sits within the Marketing Cloud, and the businesses that use it have to have Marketing Cloud and some other instance of Salesforce, specifically Sales, Service, Community, or Financial Services Cloud. And what it does is it connects corporate marketers with non-corporate marketers, whether they be advisors, partners, dealers, franchisees, and it's able to allow them to create a seamless messaging experience for their customers. So just to give you an example, think of yourself going to a bank and you want to talk to your personal financial advisor. Well, you might get a corporate message from the actual bank itself, but you're not actually talking to the corporate marketer. Now, they're going to be the financial advisor over there that's going to be talking to you, and they're going to be messaging you and creating that personalized one-to-one relationship with you. And that's really where the value is, where they build their book of business. Or you could think of it as a car dealership as well, where you're looking to buy a car, you see an ad come out about this brand new model that comes out. You're not reaching out to the corporate marketer. You're going to have to get some messaging from the personalized local dealership that's over in your area. So in this example I kind of show here is the problem that we're trying to solve is that a lot of corporate marketing is really on brand, the sophisticated messaging, but it's really impersonal because they don't know and don't have a relationship with the customer. Now, from the advisors, partners, and dealer side, which we call the non-corporate marketer, they have that really personalized message, but it might be disconnected with the brand. It can be really off-brand as well, maybe not even legally compliant. So what distributed marketing does is takes all that, makes it legally and brand compliant, and makes the messaging on point and approved by the corporate marketing team. So today, I'm going to walk you through a couple new features that we have for distributed marketing that have literally just come out. One of them is for custom images from URLs. So for those of you familiar with distributed marketing, we allow you to be able to edit content blocks, specifically image blocks, and allow up to a dozen different images. Well, now we're expanding that functionality and allowing any user to include a public available image via URL right into the image block field, and they can post that for any of the personalized messages they have. So this just adds for more robustness and more customization and more images that you can actually supply for your non-corporate marketer. Now our next feature we're going to talk about is conditional approvals. Now approvals is really one of the key pillars that we have for distributed marketing, is really making sure everything is on brand. So when your non-corporate marketers, such as your dealers and agents, are actually sending a message out, how do we know that they're actually sending messages that are on brand? Well, we have an approval process for that. And right now, before this feature was released, they were able to actually say yes or no, like whether we want to manually approve all of them to make sure every message actually gets checked off and is brand and legally compliant or not. Well, now we've customized that and added more features where now we can actually require when content is modified. So if no content is modified and that's already been approved, a lot of brands have told us they don't want to waste their time in having to manually approve all of those. They want to get them automatically approved. Unless something changes, then they'll be notified, and the corporate marketing team rather is going to have to check that through. Another thing we have is requiring approval when the target audience is above a certain size. So let's say you're making a new message and it's going to impact maybe only 2 people. Well, that might not be important to him. The impact and the time and value ratio you're looking at to actually look through all that might not be worth it. But let's say it's going to be about 200 people. Well, that's going to be a lot more eyes looking at that. So you're going to want your corporate marketing team to send a trigger so that when they actually make that modification, you're going to require approval for that. So we're just adding more robustness to our approvals process for distributed marketing. And in our third feature that I'm going to be talking about is quick send to list views. And this is really a powerful way for your dealers and agents to be able to reach out to their book of business in a very seamless way, and what we like to call one-to-many. So as you may realize, we have quick send to individuals already, where you can actually send an instant message through the Salesforce CRM, not in the Marketing Cloud, but the system they're already familiar with, and send an individualized, personalized message to them. Now with list views, this is an element that already exists within Salesforce, whether you're in Sales or Service Cloud, and it allows them to create a reusable, customized group of people based on preferences, or it could be based on some kind of specific criteria that you're looking for. And with that, the non-marketer is able to send that message easily to their book of business that meet those specific criteria. So we're going to walk through a demo today, and we're going to play the hat of the financial advisor, and they're going to send a personalized quarterly newsletter to their high net worth individuals. The advisor wants to select an image, a short personalized invitation, and reach out to these very specific clients that they have using quick send to list views. So let's dive right in. So here we are in the demo, and first we're going to play the admin before jumping to the financial advisor. So this is the setup screen many of you guys may be familiar with, right within the Salesforce CRM, and we're going to want to go to Object Manager, because first thing is we're going to have to enable quick send to list views functionality for our organization. So we're going to click on Object Manager here, and we're going to scroll down and we're going to click on Contact right here. And then we're going to click on Search Layouts. So here we are in Search Layouts. As you can see up top, there's going to be a list view right here, and we're going to want to be able to edit that. So if you scroll all the way to the right, you'll see this little arrow. You click on it, there'll be a drop down. We're going to click on Edit. So this new screen shows up, and it's for all the contact list views. And on top are all the standard buttons that are available right now. So we're not going to want to change that. But on the bottom is where you can see some of the custom buttons that we're going to add. And one of them is the quick send to list view functionality. So we're going to click on that. We're going to want to add that. So it's a selected button now, and click Save. And at admin, it's really that simple. You've enabled your org to be able to send quick send to list views. So let's jump and play the hat of the financial advisor. So we're going to click over here, and we're going to jump right into the Sales Cloud. So we're going to click on here and get into the Sales Cloud, and this is where our financial advisors are familiar with. They're not going to even have to jump into the Marketing Cloud or within Journey Builder and build their messages. They can do it all right within their Salesforce CRM. So over here, we're going to click on Contacts, because this is where we're going to actually access our different list views. So as you see on our Contacts page, this is a list of all of our different contacts that we have, but we're not going to want to choose all of them. We want the list view for those high net worth individuals so we can send that quarterly newsletter to them. So we'll click on this drop down here, and we've already actually created this list view. We've called it High Net Worth Contacts. So let's click on that. And here we can see all the different people in there. So we can actually choose who we want to include in the list view, or we can include all of them. And in this case, I want to include all of them. So we simply click on the name. All 5 have been included. And we're going to want to click here on the right side of Add to Campaign. There's a little arrow. We're going to click Send Quick Send Email. So let's click on that. So here we are on Quick Send Messages, and our business unit is Cumulus, and that's our Salesforce Financial Services brand. And for message, we're going to want to click here on the quarterly newsletter, and we can edit this one to be for September 2019. So let's click on that to edit this quarterly newsletter. And for those of you familiar with QuickSend, this will look very familiar to you, this screen. It's exactly the same way that QuickSend would look sending to an individual. So here's a newsletter that we can actually edit. So we have a lot of content already here, and we probably don't need to change it for this newsletter. And we'll have editable content blocks, such as anywhere that shows the little marker on the top right. So everything looks good here, but this image doesn't seem to quite fit. So let's actually try something else and click to edit. And we can see here in the image area that we have different images that we've already preloaded. And remember, you can set up to a dozen different preloaded images per image block. So we have one for high net worth webinars, but we've used that one before. So let's actually try the new functionality that we talked about earlier on including a URL. So simply click on this URL here on the right of image library, click within add a URL, and we're going to copy and paste the URL. And here we have kind of a fun one for this webinar that we're going to send, and that's all based off of a public URL that we're using. So let's actually edit this image here. So and we got the message right there, and you simply hit send. And there we have it. We've just used quick send to list views to send a highly personalized message to our high net worth contacts based off of a list view. So for our next feature we're going to be talking about, it's within Social Studio. And Social Studio is a platform that we have that sits within the Marketing Cloud, and it allows social media managers to be able to reach out and dig deeper insights and use that to inform them on their social brand and social strategy. So for those of you familiar with this, here we are inside a social listening summary, specifically for national parks. As you can see on this dashboard, we have many different cards here. One for our influencers, our media type trends by day, the post volumes that we have, and the overall uptick or downticks that we're seeing, the top words and overall sentiment in countries that we've seen. So you may be familiar with all of that. But here, we want to talk about persona insights. So to be able to do that, we're going to actually want to go on this influencer report card, click here, and then create that new insights group. So once we click on that, a new screen will appear, and here we are in the insights group, specifically for national parks. And here we can see a lot of deep, rich analytics, specifically for what our influencers are talking about within that specific persona group for national parks. So as you can see here, there are a lot of different terms here, such as canon, hike, Yosemite, even some things even about dogs that they're talking about. So you can really get a better sense of what your influencers are actually talking about, as they might not necessarily be directly pertaining to national parks. And you can also see things such as the number of different persona groups and what kind of terms are actually being used, as well as followers and influencer scores. Now, if we dig even deeper, we can actually look and dig into a workbench that we can actually create and see even further what these groups look like. So here's a workbench that we've just created specifically for this, and we can actually see what the sentiment score is. That, look, we've had close to 84% positive sentiment based on some of these top keywords that we have here. This is our gender breakout, our top words. We can even click on the different hashtags to see hashtag volume and what those scores will actually look like. So with Persona Insights by Social Studio, you're really able to dig deeper and gain insights to help inform you on your broader social media strategy, and also be able to take those insights and find out what may not be so obvious at first in reporting, but dig deeper and see what your actual influencer is saying, what type of words they're using, what sentiments are tied to that, and be able to create a report based off of those specific persona groups. And that's really social media insights in a nutshell.
All right, awesome. So ready for some questions?
I am, absolutely.
All right, excellent. First of all, I just want to say that adding an image to the content block via URL, that is super cool. I was like trying to not, say something. I was like, wow,
well, I'm
really,
glad
really
you're excited
cool.
about it. We are
Plus,
too.
you can have the 10, did you say 10 that was already preloaded?
Yep,
so,
we can up to a dozen, but now you can.
up to a dozen. So if that dozen doesn't do it for you, there's the option of just completely new. Now, I'm assuming that URL would be a publicly accessible image.
Yes,
You'd have
absolutely.
to make sure you have it loaded somewhere where it doesn't have an authentication in front of it.
Sure,
Right,
absolutely.
just like with any other email. Yeah. Really cool. And the social media insights, I could really see how that could be also useful for creating content, because you were talking about, creating custom newsletters. Well, if you were also had insights on these same high net worth folks, right? And what they're talking about, the words that they use the most, I could definitely see using that to even customize the content for them even further.
Absolutely,
Right.
you can.
So the two tie together really nicely. So quick question. So I'm not sure if this is from this most recent release or the previous one, but this is relating to distributed marketing. Is there a send on behalf of another user customization?
Oh, that is a fantastic question.
That's from Paul.
Yes, that is actually a feature coming out early next year. We have it on the roadmap. It's been highly asked for by a lot of our customers, so I don't want to jump the gun and say, but it's coming out soon.
Awesome.
We have it on our roadmap.
Great to know. And then the quick send to list view, is that the only way that you can send a quick one-off message to your contacts? Like, for example, from their standard CRM login?
No, there are actually a bunch. That's a great question there. So we actually have quick send to individuals, so you can actually send to a specific contact or lead or account. We're having a new feature coming out where we have quick send to case, where you can actually open up a case record and specifically reach out to those specific contacts within the case, or you can actually set up a campaign as well to do an individual message.
Nice, lots of flexibility there. Now, do send time optimizations work outside of Journey Builder?
I think
that was for you.
I think
That was
one
for
may
you.
have been
Yeah.
from the earlier, that I presented. But to answer the question,
Yeah, go ahead.
They only work in Journey Builder today. So if you are thinking about using that feature, you would need a Journey Builder license. You could, there's partners in the App Exchange and things like that. If you aren't using Journey Builder yet and you want some sort of send time optimization solution, we have great partners that we work with as well. But our integrated one is just in Journey Builder.
All right, thank you. Now, are all of these features that you were showing available in distributed marketing?
Yes, absolutely.
Everything.
If you're a distributed marketing user already and you have a license for that, these are all available. Yeah, no additional charge for any of them.
Excellent, and we always like to hear that. And in the approval process, are there any other options with distributed marketing for the approval process?
Yes, I mean, you can do the standard yes or no, so you can actually manually approve every single message that goes through, or just say, no, I fully trust my advisors out there, let them run with it, and we can have that as well. And this custom options that we've done is just adding a little bit more features to it, making it a little bit more robust.
Oh, great. Now, I gave you one example of how you could use the insights for content, but are there any other use cases you could think of, or how you might use these insights?
Yes, I mean, one is building content like you had mentioned. Another is just informing on your brand strategy, on the type of sentiments that you're actually seeing based off the analytics that we show in Persona Insights. And based off of that, you can refocus kind of the audiences that you're using. So not just the content, but which audiences you want to reach out to, because that's one of the beauties of Social Studio, is being able to reach to specific audiences, be able to understand those specific audiences, reach that content, and also make adjustments throughout on what you actually want to raise that sentiment score.
Now, if I wanted to really organize these insights, can I create a dashboard with Persona Insights?
Yes, you absolutely can. So we actually created a dashboard within the demo, but you can actually create those new dashboards within pretty much any report that you want. So we just gave a very specific one that we did for the example.
And as always, is this included in
Yes,
Social
absolutely
Studio?
included.
Okay.
It's generally available. It's
All right.
live now.
So new features, just added value to what
Yes.
you already have. Great. All right, Will, I think, Jen, I think it's time for your section, so take it away.
Sure. So we've been listening to our customers, and we know that our customers are asking for higher performing, predictable transactional messaging capabilities with rich features. Now you can send all of your messaging within one platform. This includes promotional and transactional. With January of this year, we released a modern REST API for email so that you could send your transactional messages and track them. We are now extending those capabilities into SMS. A transactional message is defined typically as a real-time critical message. So this is going to be two-factor authentication, a password reset, or even a fraud alert. So taking into consideration that there are 5 billion mobile users globally, and Forbes said last year that 95% of all text messages are read within 3 minutes. It makes sense that we would extend our critical messaging into SMS. So with this new feature, we have a new REST API for low latency message sending and tracking for SMS, as well as a REST API for send definition management. Next, to go hand in hand with transactional messaging is our transactional event notifications, also known as webhooks. So with transactional messaging capabilities, we have the ability to offer near real-time notification of the transactional email and SMS sends down to our customers so that you can integrate this into your own business processes. And finally, I'm going to talk to you about in-app messaging for Mobile Studio. We already know that marketers are leveraging push notifications to draw users back into their app. Whether it's for a cart abandon or an offer, app users are opening the app. 32% of people check their apps 1 to 10 times a day. And since mobile shoppers account for 17% of consumers, it makes sense that we would want to help marketers turn app users into conversions. In-app messaging allows marketers to interact with that engaged audience inside the app. So very different than a push notification. Push notifications draw you into the app, and an in-app message is shown when the user is inside the app. So it really enhances the app experience. We've built this directly into Journey Builder. So now you have the ability to add your in-app messages into your full journey with your push notifications, your SMS messages, and even your emails. We also have easy-to-use content templates available within Content Builder. So now I will go ahead and switch over to Journey Builder, and I will show you how you can create these messages. So as you can see, I have Journey Builder pulled up, and I went ahead and configured my audience ahead of time. I also drug over my in-app message activity onto the canvas. So I can go ahead and click into my activity, and as you'll see, the configuration for setting up my in-app message is similar to how you would configure an SMS message, an email message, and even a push notification. So I could either select a message, which would bring up Content Builder, or I'll go ahead and we're just going to create a new message. So when I click to create a new message, it brings up Content Builder right within the context of Journey Builder. So for your users that are configuring your journeys, they don't ever have to leave Journey Builder to start configuring their message. And as I mentioned earlier, we have a full page, banner, and modal message. So full page, as you can see on the preview on the right-hand side, is going to cover the entire screen of the device. A banner message is a smaller message that will show either at the top of the device or at the bottom. And then a modal message is similar to a full screen message, but doesn't quite cover the entire screen. So if you do want to still show some context of what's happening behind the message in the app, you can do that there. We'll go ahead and select full page and then click select. Now once I click select, it's going to bring me into my content setup within Content Builder. So from here, I have the option to go ahead and add an image, and anything that I do on the left-hand side of the screen will update here on the right-hand. So I could either add a URL for my image, or I could just browse within Content Builder. We're going to go ahead and click browse, and I know that I want to do a message around hiking season. So I could probably do Grand Canyon, Yosemite. We're just going to go ahead and throw in this image for sunny hiking, because who doesn't love sunny hiking? So now that I have my image, that looks pretty good, but I need to add a title, something that will really grab them. So hiking season is here. That works for me. Next, I'm going to want to add a message. So I really want my customers to understand that hiking season's here, and we have some great offers with NTO, or Northern Trail Outfitters. So I'll go ahead and add an offer code. Perfect. So now I'm going to configure my buttons that you see here at the bottom. I have two buttons. For the first button, I'm going to use this as a dismiss. So I've already got that there. We'll use that. But then I need to configure what happens when the user clicks on that button. So I have a few behavior options. The first is a dismiss. I could choose to go to a web URL, open the page in the app, open the device settings or open the location settings. So opening the device settings is really helpful because if you're using an in-app message to direct a user to turn on push notifications, you can actually send them into the device settings from here so that they don't have to navigate there on their own. Opening location settings is also a great option for your behavior because then if you want them to turn on location settings so that you can start using things like geofences or beacons, you can send them directly to the location settings within the device as well. But for the purposes of what we're doing today, I'm going to go ahead and use this as a dismiss since that's what I put my label for. And for my second button, of course, I want them to shop. So I'm going to go ahead and type in shop boots. And for my behavior, I want to send them to a page in the app because, of course, I want them to shop. So I have, let's see, I have a page here that I can just go ahead and use. We'll use that one. So now my content is pretty much ready to go, but I think I can make this look a little better. So up at the top here, if I click over to my design tab, I have a lot more options that have just opened up. In my message layout, this is where I could go in and I could decide maybe I do want this to be a banner or a modal, and I could change that from here. But I think I'm good with full page, so we'll just X out of that. Then I have some options for my image. Right now my image is sitting right at the top. I do think that I want it to move down just a little bit, so I'll go ahead and click and have this flip to have the title at the top. The next option that I see here is around my dismiss icon. So we did go ahead and assign a button here for dismiss, but you also on a full page and a modal message have the option to have a dismiss icon. But you know what? I don't think that I need that today. So I'm going to go ahead and just disable that. And as you can see in my preview, it goes away. Next, I have some options that can change my entire notification and its background. I have the background color here, which I can select. And let's say I want to change this. Maybe we'll make it just a little bit darker gray and hit done. So you can see that that updates the message overall. Next, I move into the text section. So now I can make some changes to my text. I've got the title at the top. The title looks okay, but it might look better a little bigger, and maybe if we made it centered. Perfect. Now I can take a look at my message. The message is looking pretty small, so I will go ahead and make that a little bigger. We have some options here configured for size automatically so that we don't have to use our pixel sizes. I also want to switch that to being centered, and I could change the color here. I think that's okay. I could either pick it from the color picker or enter in a hex code that I wanted to use there, but I'm going to go ahead and just leave it the way that it is. Now onto my image. Right now my image is running right to the edge of the screen, which can be okay, but if I wanted to switch it over to inset, I could do that as well. And by doing that, it does make it a little bit more interesting to add a border, maybe change my border's color. Pretty standard options there, and also I can make those corners rounded. Okay, so now we get into our buttons. My buttons are kind of stuck at the bottom right now, which is not terrible, but I do want to make them a little bigger, so it might make more sense to have them be vertical. So now that they're vertical, I can flip over and assign a bigger size for my text on the buttons. And then maybe I want to change the corner radius of my buttons and make those match my image. I can do that as well. So a lot of options that you have for sort of customizing these messages so that they show up the way that you want them to, that matches your brand. Obviously, the NTO brand does a lot of blues and grays, so that works well for this app, but if it's a different color that your brand is using, you can easily change that here. So now I would go ahead and save this message and return, and it's going to take me back into Journey Builder. The next thing that I'm going to want to do is go to message configuration. From within message configuration, this is how I select the app that I want to send to. For today, I do know that I want to send to the NTO app, so I'll go ahead and select that. Next, I'm going to choose my active message time frame. So it may make sense for this message to live on for a long time, but I may only want this to live for a specific date and time. So in this case, maybe I only want this to live from today through the end of the month. So we'll flip over to October, pick that date, and I think we'll go ahead and select a time. We'll just make it pretty simple. Good. So now my message, even if a contact reaches this activity towards the end of October, they will only have the opportunity to see this message on the next app open if they open the app before October 25th, which is exactly what I want. Next, on delivery options. So as of right now, the app open is the trigger that we have available. We are hoping in the future to add some additional triggers around the behavior of the user within the app. But for now, I have one option and it is pre-selected for me so that every time that the app is opened, a message is shown. The other option that I have here is around the message priority. So what I can do with this is if I have multiple in-app messages that are downloaded to the device, I can go ahead and set a message priority and say, I had 3 other messages that were configured last week, but this message is the highest priority. This is the message I want my users to see first, so I can set that here. And we have a ton of documentation that's helpful around message priority and how you can determine how best you could display your messages with the first messages showing or the next one that you want to show. And all of that really wraps up configuring my in-app message. Once my journey is active, I would be able to come back in and I would be able to double click on my active activity and see any opens that I have and any engagement data that I'm looking for my in-app message. But that really wraps up my demo.
Oh, that's really neat how you can do all that right from the builder and even see the engagement right from the builder.
Exactly.
So really convenient. Thanks. So let's just do a couple of questions.
Sure.
So quick question about the in-app messages. How are they actually triggered?
The in-app messages are going to be triggered by the next time that someone opens your app. So you'll want to implement our mobile SDK into your app, and then it listens. So we'll download up to 50 messages to the device, and then when you open the app the next time, the next priority message would show.
Now, what if your contact has multiple devices? Will it show up everywhere?
It will not. So we will go ahead and send the message to all of your contacts' devices, and then the first device that opens the app is the device that will see the message. So then they're not displaying the same message multiple times.
That's great. That's smart. Because I could see how that could get annoying if my 3 phones and my iPad. And,
yes, exactly.
And it's like, wait, I already dismissed that. Now, what about the number of in-app messages? How many can you show per app session?
So we define an app session as when you open the app and then the app goes into the background, that's the end of that app session. So we will only display one in-app message per app session so that as a user, I'm not opening up my app and getting message after message after message. We just want to display one at a time. As soon as it goes to the background, the next time that they open the app, we'll display the next one.
All right. Thank you. Now, I'm going to circle back because we have a couple minutes left. There were a couple of questions that I actually found the answer was actually in the community. So I'll just go ahead and give those to the folks who were asking. So for Miles, what you're finding is correct. The seed list for deliverability is not available by default in a journey, but you can check with support in case it can be added. So I would log a case for that. Similar answer for Frank. For Journey Builder tracking, it does not give you he was asking about exporting to activity to PDF. And I believe the answer to that one is, again, check with support for a workaround because it is not, it's not available with send time optimization.
Yeah, I don't believe the current state that any of that is exportable. But yeah.
But it's good feedback for future.
It's good feedback,
right?
Yeah.
And then there was the question about the Ad Studio campaign metrics into Datarama. Mm-hmm. If you have Datarama, you can pull those campaign metrics into Datarama, create a dashboard at the audience level, and you can leverage that product to view all the campaign data across all your ad campaign touchpoints, not just Facebook. So that's pretty cool.
Yeah, absolutely.
So just wanted to circle back on that one.
I love the community doing work here.
Same here. All right. Well, thank you everybody for joining us. I hope you had as much fun as we did. And if we didn't get to your question live, or if you come up with other questions as you're watching the recording or later on, don't worry, we'll follow up with you later within the next few days. And also we have been recorded, so you can watch this anytime and share it with others. Come back and join us again tomorrow morning at 9:30 Pacific for Communities and B2B Commerce Cloud. That should be a great session. So I cannot wait to hear how you've been using new features to innovate. So let's keep the conversation going in the Release Readiness community where all Trailblazers can meet and be release ready.